Hi, welcome to the Belly Brain Connection. I'm Hannah Winans. I'm a functional nutrition counselor, and I'm on a mission to help educate and empower people about the connection between their gut health and mental well-being. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is episode number 3, and today I'm looking to cover a little bit more about just belly brain 101, the gut brain axis connection. For some of you who've been in the health and wellness space for a while, this may sound very familiar to you. For others, this is completely brand new. So I hope to kind of break it down, keep it quick, keep it simple. I have a really good book that I want to recommend where you can go for the real details. It is The Mind-Gut Connection by Dr. Emmerin Mayer. It's really well written. Next episode, I will go into a little more depth what was in this book. But for those of you who kind of want to book club this, I really recommend it. It's a good read. It's, again, written pretty simply and really kind of gives you a great overview of what's happening in our bodies between the gut and the brain. You can go directly to my website, bellybrain.com, where there's a link where you can purchase it. Again, I'm not selling this book myself. I'm just created a link so it's easy for you to find. So let's talk about the gut-brain axis. And what I want to do is kind of help create a picture for you of what that looks like. So our gut and our brain are directly connected by what's called the vagus nerve, VAGUS. And that nerve, I'd like to kind of consider it as the super highway for the communication highway between the brain and the gut. So all day long, that the gut and the brain are talking to each other through that connection. They're sending signals to each other. So when you hear the phrase, well, I had a gut reaction or a gut feeling, that's a real thing. That's your brain. Maybe it's something that's dangerous. Your brain is taking in that information and processing it, and it's directly communicating with the gut. Or if you're not, if you're having some gut issues and you're not feeling well, a lot of times that's going to affect your mood, right? So it's very simple when you think about it in those terms, as it's just a connection and that's signaling constantly to each other. I think about little kids, there's that. I know I when I was little, it was something I went through when I was really feeling anxious about school. I had a tummy ache. And I knew from my mom, and I went through this with my son too, it's really hard to pinpoint that when your kid says, oh, I have a tummy ache, but you kind of know, no, it's something going on with school. They just don't want to go to school. But why is it manifesting in a tummy ache? Well, because of the gut-brain axis connection, which we now know more about. So that makes sense, right? So, gut reactions, gut feelings, that's a real thing. And that superhighway is how that's kind of happening. So when we think about the fact that 90% of our serotonin is produced in our gut, and that's signaling to our brain, we can understand that when our guts are off, if we have any kind of gut dysbiosis, gut health issues, that's going to be throwing off those signals. If our bodies are inflamed, right? If metabolically we're inflamed, that's also going to affect that whole connection. So keeping that superhighway running smoothly without any clogs is the goal. And that can start with how we're treating our guts. So with that, like I said, I just wanted to create a quick picture for you to be able to visualize what that might look like. Tons of information on my website, tons of information in the Mind-Gut Connection. I think for the thing that really kind of I thought was fascinating that I learned, that is another example of that belly-brain connection, is that in my nutrition courses, I learned that there's 3 phases to the digestive system. We'll cover the other phases down the road. But the first phase is the cephalic phase, and that phase starts in your brain. And so when you think about a lemon, we'll use a lemon as an example. You think about a lemon, the more you think about it, and kind of think about how it smells and how it tastes, your mouth typically will start to water. Well, that's because your cephalic phase of digestion is kicking in. Your brain is starting to prime your body for the food that you're thinking of or the food that you're going to take in. Another example would be when you've got a roast in the crock pot all day, right? And you're kind of smelling it all day and you're looking forward. well, I don't know, it's me, whether it's a roast or whatever it is you eat, but that thing that you love that you're cooking and you're kind of smelling it all day. And sometimes it'll even make your stomach grumble. And, you're just really looking forward to that meal. It's because your cephalic brain has been kind of working on that all day, getting the body ready to take in the food and help nourish the food to your body. And so we're priming our systems with that cephalic phase. And I think one of the problems that a lot of us have, and I'm guilty of it too, is that we're skipping that step. We're skipping that cephalic phase because we're so busy, and we're grabbing something out of a package that we didn't prepare, that we just grabbed, and we're eating it in the car on the way to work. And we're not taking that minute to smell the food, even chew the food. I mean, this is like the scarfing season where I feel like we're all just running around scarfing weird things down at weird places because it's the holidays. But we're skipping that cephalic step and not setting ourselves up for optimal digestion. And when you think about, in so many cultures and religions, since like the beginning of time, people have been praying over their food or doing some kind of a tribute, something to honor their food, taking a minute to really think about and appreciate the food and looking at it from a place of wanting it to nourish their bodies. I think there's something to that. I think that's not just necessarily a religious or cultural thing. I think maybe that's something primal that we know that we're supposed to be doing. So for this week, I hope that, you'll understanding now a little bit more about how the vagus nerve works and how our belly and our brain are communicating. And then also realizing that first part of digestion starts in the brain. Let's be more mindful of what we're eating in the sense of, let's appreciate food for what it is. And let's maybe cook something. If you have the time, throw something in a crock pot or cook something that takes a while to bake in the oven. And let's kind of prime ourselves. Let's prime ourselves and our families for optimal digestion of what you're going to eat. And so let's give it a shot. So I appreciate you tuning in. Our next episode we'll cover the mind-gut connection. Any questions, comments, suggestions, please let me know. I am here to help build a community around this, and I really appreciate any feedback that you have. Thanks. We'll see you next time.